My name is Camille Scott, and today I'm going to talk to you about my father, Donald Oderman. My father was a remarkable man. He really was a philanthropist at heart. He was raised in Portland, Oregon, went to Jesuit school his whole life. He even went to a Jesuit university, Santa Clara University, which is in San Jose, California. And he always had this desire to help other people. So when he was 19 years old, he ended up applying for the Peace Corps, and he was accepted and went to Colombia and served 3 years in the Peace Corps in Colombia and learned Spanish. So thanks to him and also my bilingual mother, I am bilingual. But he had two major loves in his life. He loved Latin America and he loved baseball. He was a stockbroker by trade, but his real labor of love was scouting out Latin American baseball players and placing them at American universities as foreign students on baseball scholarships. And he is responsible for over 150 Latin American ball players graduating from four-year universities all over the United States. There were a few, maybe about 8, that actually made it to Major League Baseball. So he was actually a pretty good scout as well. He spent 20 years doing this, and there are countless stories of these young men being really grateful that they were able to come to the United States and complete 4-year degrees, thanks to my father placing them in these universities. Fast forward in time, I had a chance to work with my dad for a few years as a stockbroker, and then I went my own way, got married, had a family, and had children of my own. And unfortunately, my father was diagnosed at some point with Alzheimer's. This was really difficult for my mom. I tried to support them as much as I could, but I lived about 4 hours away from their home. So I would come a few times a year, maybe 4 times a year, I would come and visit. And at some point they had to put him in a memory care unit because he liked to go on walks, and he would go at really inappropriate times, 4:35 in the morning, and my mom could no longer contain him. But she was a very loyal wife and went and visited him every day in the memory care unit, and so he never forgot her. But when I went to go visit him, there was one time in particular where he saw me, greeted me with open arms, said, "Oh my gosh, how have you been?" And I said, "Yeah, I've been great, And then he said, "So tell me," as we're walking arm in arm down the hallway, he said, "Tell me, how are your parents?" And of course, this broke my heart, but I didn't want him to know that, so I just said, "You know what? They're doing just fine." Well, at some point, we got a call, my mom got a call, that my father had been nominated for an award, and he had actually won the award, and he was to be inducted into the Latin American Baseball Hall of Fame in the Dominican Republic. And so my mom and I went to the Dominican Republic, and we accepted the award on his behalf. He was awarded the Tommy Lasorda Award, and the Tommy Lasorda Award is the award for the American that has significantly impacted Latin American baseball. Now, there were 2 events that we were to attend. The big event was on the Saturday night, and that was filmed for ESPN, where all of the players, lots of different people were receiving awards for this induction. They do it every year. However, Tommy Lasorda was busy on that Saturday night, so he wasn't able to attend that event. But the night before, they had a small, intimate dinner, probably about 200 people at Casa de Campo, which is a beautiful resort there in the Dominican Republic, a couple hours outside of the capital. and he was going to present us this award in front of this group of people because he wasn't able to make it the following night. And so I accepted that award on my father's behalf. And it was a very special moment because as part of my acceptance speech, I actually was able to have a heart-to-heart conversation with Tommy Lasorda. You see, the Dodgers really helped my father out with this. Manny Mota of the Dodgers helped my father out a lot with this organization. And I grew up going to Dodger games, but we lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I would go to these Dodger games at Candlestick Park dressed in Dodger blue. And this rivalry between the Dodgers and the Giants goes all the way back to New York when they were the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers. And so I told Tommy Lasorda about a particular game that I went to. I explained that I was there in Dodger blue, and he said to me, "We hated them then, and we hate them now." I told him about a game that I never really forgave my father for because it was a school night. I was probably about in the 4th grade, and my dad wanted to leave early because there's big traffic jams getting out of Candlestick Park when the game lets out. So it was the 8th inning. The Dodgers were down 2-0, and he says, "Come on, let's get out of here. Let's go." He wanted to leave early. And I said, "Dad, wait. They're walking Pedro Guerrero. And he's like, "Oh, come on, let's get out of here." So as we step out of the stadium, we hear this commotion come out of the stadium. And so we run to the car and turn on the radio in the car so we could hear the game on the radio. And what had happened was they walked Pedro Guerrero, and then Mike Marshall, who was the 5th batter, got up and hit a home run out of the park to tie the game. But what happened was when Mike Marshall was rounding the bases, he was so offended that they had walked the player before him that he heckled the coach. He started pointing at the coach that had told the pitcher to do that. And so a big melee ensued where all the players of both dugouts just spilled out onto the mound, and there was a big fight. And anyway, short story long, I missed all of that. A player hit a home run on behalf of the Dodgers in the 10th inning to win the game, and I never quite forgave my dad for leaving early. So I told Tommy Lasorda this story. It was a heart-to-heart right in front of everybody. And he said, "You know, Camille, I remember that game." And he said that he pulled Mike Marshall into his office and told him, "Don't ever do that again." He said, "The revenge is not in heckling the coach. The revenge is in hitting the home run." So needless to say, that was a really tender moment for me that I got to share with Tommy Lasorda. I accepted the award on my dad's behalf. And shortly after that, he died. And I miss him terribly. But I will always have a lot of fond memories about my dad and his love for Latin American baseball. Thank you for listening.